Hello and welcome. We begin with the latest in the West African nation of Guinea-Bissau, where an eerie calm has gripped the streets a day after its army seized control. And this forced President Umaro Sissoco Embaló to flee the country. He has fled to the neighbouring nation of Senegal, where he arrived late last night aboard a special flight. The country's foreign ministry has confirmed his arrival, which followed the intervention of the West African regional bloc. Earlier reports suggested that he was arrested along with his aides by the army. Meanwhile, Guinea-Bissau's military has sworn in Major-General Horta Inta-A as the country's transitional president. He is considered to have been close to Embalo in recent years, and he named Major-General Thomas Jassy as Guinea-Bissau's Army Chief of Staff.
I have just been sworn in as President of the High Military Command for the Restoration of National Security and Public Order. Generated by the events of November 26, this new military entity immediately assumed itself as the highest authority of the state power in Guinea-Bissau. Its mandate will last only for 1 year, which is the maximum duration of the transition period starting today.
The new leader said the transition would last for a year, while the self-styled High Military Command for the Restoration of Order stated their power seizure was to counter a plot by drug lords to capture the Guinean democracy.
Our action became a clear response to a growing threat that could have endangered democracy and the political stability of the Guinean state. It is a threat capable of causing public disorder and even the disintegration of the institutions of a democratic rule of law state. This was the threat that needed to be prevented and stopped. It was an intense activity carried out by known drug traffickers who, taking advantage of the electoral process, sought by all means to infiltrate, manipulate, and ultimately capture Guinean democracy.
The swearing-in ceremony followed a dramatic turn of events. The military seized power a day before the provisional results of the November 23rd presidential election were to be announced. After the power grab, the borders were briefly shut and a curfew was imposed. The military has now lifted the curbs, but a ban on all media programming and protests is in place. The ban followed the opposition's call for protest against the coup and the publication of the election results. This as the opposition's presidential candidate, Fernando Dias da Costa, alleged that Embalo had organised this fake power grab to retain office. Dias was Embalo's main challenger, and he had claimed victory after the polls. He said that he was in hiding after escaping from armed men who came to arrest him.
I simply wanted to inform you that once again, we are the target of a fabricated coup attempt. I am the winner of the elections. I have polling station reports confirming my victory. I won the elections, so how could I possibly orchestrate a coup? After all, who is behind this?
Guinea-Bissau is a small country sandwiched between Guinea and Senegal. It has experienced 4 coups since independence from Portugal in 1974. Political instability is not new to the nation, where election results are often contested. The crisis just adds to the woes of citizens who are already real under a drug trafficking nexus and poverty. And for more on this story, we have with us Achike Chude, who is an African affairs analyst from Abuja in Nigeria. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
Let's start off with the president who has fled, but the opposition claim it could be a setup in order for him to consolidate power in an election they say they won. Is there a route for his return from Senegal, and do you believe these accusations?
Well, I can't say much about the veracity of the accusations, but in politics, all manners of funny things happen, and politicians are very strange creatures. So the truth is not usually something that they value, especially when it comes to satiating their political interest. So there's a possibility that in Africa, because of the spate of coups that took place in Africa, especially after the independence struggles in many African countries, once in a while you have a coup situation that is described as a palace coup, where soldiers have this agreement with the incumbent political leadership when they know that they can no longer hold on to power because of crisis and instability. So they just look for a way to ease themselves out of power by inviting the military and collaborating with the military to remove them from power. And then the military now comes in and then makes the usual speeches, and then they take over. So there is a possibility that this is a palace coup. If you look at the ease with which, we were told, that Embalo and his officials, some of the officials have been arrested. And without, pressure from the international community, they were released and then eased out of power, and then given the freedom to leave the country. And so there is that possibility. And then is there a way back for him? I think not. Even if they had an agreement, assuming it was possible that he had an agreement with the people who have eased him out of power with the military. But the thing about power is that power is not given, it is taken. And so the soldiers are in charge. They have set a transition timetable. They have said 1 year. For Embalo, anything is possible. Like I said, they might allow him to come back because he's a friend. He's not really different from the people that have taken over from him. But I suspect that his path to coming back will be very difficult, and if not impossible. I think once the soldiers consolidate whatever agreement they might have had with him, if they did have an agreement, they would to be repudiated immediately.
Yes, and the new military leader has said that a 1-year transitional period will now be at play. But there have been similar promises in the past after military takeovers within the continent. Could Guinea-Bissau be set for an extended period of military rule?
Yeah, well, there is that possibility, and that possibility is very high, because once the political bug has beaten them, they tend to want to remain in power and enjoy all the appurtenances and the luxuries of office. Because in most cases, we have discovered that it's not about leadership.
Well, thank you to Chike Chude for joining us and providing that insight. We will continue to monitor all of this developments and the situation ongoing in Guinea-Bissau.
I wore the crown of a revolutionary. I promised to lift my nation. I claimed to fight imperialism. I became the very thing I warned against. I funded militias across continents. I feared my own shadow. Some called me the King of Kings. History calls me something else. The dictator. Who am I?